Napier committee meeting for the 15th of May. We've got apologies from Deputy Mayor Brosnan and Councillor Taylor. Can I have a mover and seconder for those? Councillor Brown and Councillor Mawson. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Any conflicts of interest? None. We've got no public forum. Any announcements by the Mayor? I've got no announcements. Announcements by management? None. Just confirmation of the minutes from Thursday the 6th of March 2025. Can I have a mover and seconder for those? Councillor Tariha and Councillor Crown. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Great. Well, no. Any minor matters? None? Right, so we're on to our first agenda item, and we have Michelle on the screen here, who's going to present to us the Freedom Camping Bylaw Review Implementation Plan.
Thank you, Chair Crystal, and kia ora koutou. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to the paper today, which provides an outline of the implementation plan, as the Chair said, for operationalising the Freedom Camping Bylaw. As you all know, the bylaw was adopted by Council in February and will take effect from 1 July 2025. As part of the review of the bylaw, Council agreed to add 2 new restricted sites for freedom camping, one at the National Aquarium and one at the Marine Parade North car parking area. And Council also agreed to prohibit freedom camping at the West Shore Reserve car park permanently and at the Foreshore Reserve car park. And you requested a number of considerations as part of the review for preparing the implementation plan, including clear signage, options for parking placement for longer and larger vehicles, and that safety at each of the sites be assessed based on a crime prevention through environmental design or SEPTED approach. So the implementation plan that I'm presenting in the paper summarises the items that a team of us from across Council have been looking at for rollout. It includes the layout plans and the works that will be required for those, stakeholder engagement, communications, signage and other information we'll need to be providing, and compliance and monitoring. So I'm taking the paper largely as read, but just would like to highlight a few points first. We've carefully considered the layout within the 2 new sites to take into account access and manoeuvrability, in particular by freedom camping users, and amongst the other users of those parking areas, such as visitors to the aquarium and the Sunday market attendees. And we've also considered the safety of freedom camping users, particularly after hours. Secondly, we anticipate the revised bylaw will have no impact on level of service or costs associated with compliance and monitoring. We will be doing ongoing monitoring of all of the sites, and that will be key in addressing any unexpected issues. And we plan to implement a transition phase for a period of 3 months from 1 July to assist with embedding the revised bylaw. Thirdly, I'm working with the comms team to prepare a plan for communications, which will ensure awareness is raised locally of upcoming works before they start, and that key information is shared with relevant stakeholders, and this will include the freedom camping stakeholders themselves and the submitters to the bylaw review. I'm just waiting for the outcome of this meeting before we roll that out. And lastly, all implementation costs will be met through existing operational budgets for 24-25. So that's a quick summary, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Right, so are there any questions for Michelle? Councillor Green.
Yes, through you, Madam Chair. Just a question about the Foreshore Reserve. With the toilets there, is there going to be any change to the opening hours of those when the freedom camping is shut there?
Through the Chair, we've had some good discussions with our colleagues in the Parks and Reserves team, and the toilets will remain operational as they are today for any users of the reserve and or the car park.
Chair, sorry, just to bear in mind, because all freedom camping is meant to be self-contained, so yeah, wouldn't see that we'd need to change the
Through the Chair, just one more question. The Freedom Camping car parking spaces, are they available for ordinary parking during the day for ordinary vehicles or not?
Through the chair, the ones at National Aquarium will be, because they will have time restrictions on them for freedom camping, so they will be available during the day from 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. for anyone to use. Of course, freedom campers may also be visiting the aquarium, but any of the other sites that have earmarked freedom camping spots, which are clearly painted and marked as such, will just be for freedom campers.
Any other questions? Councillor Price.
Just on the West Shore one, you've got in there that there's a prohibited area for freedom camping. Is that a common, that we put a prohibited area?
Through the chair, yes, we can identify, as we did through the bylaw review, any areas that will be prohibited to freedom camping.
Has that been done at any other areas?
Yes, through the chair, there's largely the CBD as a whole is prohibited, and there's a number of spots throughout the city, mainly reserves, and there's also some specifically around Taradale Town Centre, Napier Shopping Centre. I don't have them all in front of me, but there's quite a list of prohibited areas scattered throughout the city, mainly reserve spaces and the CBD.
So the site that we're getting rid of down by the pump track, is that a prohibited area?
Through the chair, the current site that's used for freedom camping at the Foreshore Reserve will become a prohibited area to freedom camping. Yes,
It's the same as West Shore.
that's correct.
Thank you.
Councillor Bogue.
Thank you, through the chair. Michelle, what's the increase in numbers of freedom camping sites that we're looking at? I probably should know this, but would you remind me if you know it?
Sure, I'm just racking my brains here. I think through the chair, we currently have, it's either 6 or 8 at the Foreshore Reserve. And we have 4 at West Shore, which of course have been temporarily unavailable for the last 3 years. So, and the 2 new sites will add 8 car parks between them.
To a total of what?
Oh, I'll have to get back to you on the total, because there's quite a number in the pump track.
I was just wondering if we need
Site.
any more facilities for people to remove their effluent tanks and that sort of thing. But if it's not a significant number, then that won't be an issue, I guess.
Through the chair, yeah, we're kind of almost replacing like for like in terms of numbers from memory, maybe 1 or 2 more or less.
Thanks.
Councillor Price.
Thanks, Michelle. Just one more question. I know that anyone can park anywhere for one night or in general. Can you park in a prohibited area for a night?
Through the chair, no. We've said anyone can park for one night maximum in any area that's not identified as prohibited.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Greg's right.
Any other questions or discussion? On Mayor Wise?
Thank you, through the chair. Just looking at the, are we calling it the Foreshore site where the new parks are? I think I like where they've been put. They're probably not where we had envisaged they were going to be put there. And just to clarify, I'm presuming that's because where we've located them enables longer vehicles to park there, as opposed to if we'd put them sort of facing towards the beach. Is that right?
Yes, through the chair, that's correct. It was a really tricky site there to identify where we could fit vehicles in and where they could easily manoeuvre in and around the site, into and out of and around the site. You're right. I think when we initially looked at the bylaw review, we were considering the northern end of that car park down by the Magnet Cafe, but the roading team have quite rightly pointed out that the accessibility through there is quite limited even with a normal vehicle due to the stone curbs, the overhanging trees, and it's just very narrow. So this was the best option within the site, and it's also outside of the licence to occupy area for the Sunday market, meaning that both sets of users can still operate efficiently without impeding access by the other.
Yeah, thank you. Good solution.
And one more thing, that it's got good lighting there because it comes off from the pool, so it's a lot safer down that sort of end. Yeah. So are there any other questions or discussion? Can I have a mover and seconder? Councillor Price and Councillor Tariha, would you like to speak to that, Councillor Price?
No, that's a good feedback and a good result. Thank you.
Councillor Tariha?
No, just thank Michelle and the team for the mahi.
Anyone else like to speak? Right, I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. Right, our second item is the review of regional structures, and we have Bill online. Bill Roberts. Kia ora, Bill.
Kia ora koutou, and good afternoon, everyone. So again, thank you for your time. This report is a continuance of the process started by the review of regional structures that was commissioned by Matariki Governance Group at the end of last year. The process then continued with the workshop run by Gus Charteris, and this paper is the result of the endorsements from that and has led into the recommendations of this paper, along with an update of how things have moved on. As you will remember from the workshop, in order to strengthen links between Council and the Economic Development Agency, it was recommended that we tighten up the governance through the Matariki Governance Group and also have clearer and closer links of reporting and expectation setting for the delivery model. So this report's recommendation addresses these 2 points, creating closer links at both governance and delivery level in order to achieve both best success for Napier as a whole. But from a personal perspective, I'd just like to commend Lucy Lightman as the outgoing CE, who has done a very thorough and professional job of setting up the reader for long-term success, and some of the outputs, particularly the data and the research done, is something that we'll use as a basis moving forward for a good many different projects. Yes, I'll take the paper as fundamentally read, but happy to answer any questions at all.
So do we have any questions for Bill? Or do we? None. Everyone's very silent. Everyone's good. Okay, can I have a mover and seconder for the paper, please?
You to move.
Mia Wise moving, a seconder. Councillor Tariha, would you like to speak to it?
I would, thank you. And as the representative on Matariki in my time as Mayor, I think that this review was very timely, and obviously we have a set of recommendations here that as a governance group, Matariki's put forward to each individual council for consideration and adoption, which I believe does strengthen, in particular, the reporting and the engagement at council level, which has been sorely missing in my time on this particular governance group. I do think that alongside these recommendations, we do need to be looking to the future as well in terms of all of our regional structures and ensuring that they're all operating in an effective way. And whilst I'm endorsing for the present time to retain the Matariki Governance Group, I think that as we enter the new triennium, it's also incredibly important that we explore what other regional governance opportunities there may already be or may be coming online, that would be opportunities to actually establish as our regional governance group. And if I reflect on that in terms of what's already in place, we have our mayoral forum that we meet monthly, recognising that doesn't include our PSGEs, so that's not ideal. We also have our regional collaboration days, which does include our PSGEs, and whether that is a forum where we could actually all come together to discuss regional priorities and have any delivery agencies reporting to us collectively as a group. We also have on the horizon the requirement to prepare a regional spatial plan, which will require a governance group and a steering group across all the councils and PSGEs to do that. Any regional spatial plan will need to cover what has already been identified as the priority posed by the Matariki group in terms of transport planning, housing planning, economic development. So it does start to feel a little bit like we're going to have some duplication. So I guess just earmarking that whilst I support the recommendations that are before us today, we do also need to be looking to the future and ensuring that as we move forward, we're being as effective as we can in terms of our regional governance and collaboration, and need to be considering how we can best do that.
Thank you, Mayor Wise. Would you like to speak, Councillor Tani?
Up further there, thanks.
Right, so we have the office.
Rhonda.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, thank you.
Councillor Brown.
Through you, Madam Chair, I would like to speak to this. I'm of the same ilk as the Mayor in regards to supporting this today. However, I would like to flag a couple of concerns around it, and in the interest of being really future focused, I think we need to make sure that these structures are really fit for purpose. And I think what we have learnt from this review is that we haven't got it right, and that we acknowledge that, and we are certainly hoping to land something that is better for us and for the people of Hawke's Bay in the future. I'm really concerned actually around how our ratepayers and the ratepayers of Hawke's Bay see value out of a reader which is basically going to be mothballed for 12 months and is going to be unable to deliver due to the fact that we'll be working to recruit an interim CE and interim board of directors, etc. And what that actually means for us on the ground as we're looking to, it stalls momentum basically, which is a real shame and something that I think is actually a really negative consequence of the review. I think that, like Mayor Wise mentioned, we have a number of forums. I would like to think that our regional collaboration days could be used for a better purpose, to be more useful for us collaborating on setting priorities for the region. And we're aware of a number of strategies that we're looking at collaborating regionally in order to deliver value for our communities and our people that are going to require us to have a really robust structure in place, which hopefully actually doesn't increase bureaucracy, but enables, I think, those of us who are elected across the region and our partners to come together in a collaborative way to actually make things happen in an efficient way as well. So I think this is the best option in front of us. It has been endorsed by the current Matariki governance group as it is, but I think that, we're flagging that in the future things probably do need to be done differently, and hopefully we can all get our heads together around what will work best for the people of Napier as well.
Thank you, Councillor Crown. Is there any other speakers? You want to write a reply?
Thank you, just because, Councillor Crown has prompted me to exactly acknowledge what she has said, that I think there is a real risk at the moment that Reader is not going to be set up to succeed in the ensuing sort of 15 months. all of the councils have committed to funding through till the end of June 2026. And because we are now working through a process to appoint an interim chief executive and board, the concern is how that will stop Rita from being able to move forward. I do want to acknowledge, like Bill, all the work that the current CE, Lucy, has done, and I know that she is working incredibly hard in her final weeks now to set Rita up for success as much as she can. Matariki Governance Group did give the green light to Rita to continue on with their current work program, which included a number of projects, and I know that Lucy is in the process of ensuring that all of those are either kicked off or ready to be kicked off as soon as they possibly can be. So my feedback to the Matariki chairs with regards to, in particular, the process around recruiting an interim CE and board is that that needs to happen as quickly as possible, and that we need to ensure that we've got the right resources in there to work over this limited time period to give Rita the best opportunity it can to continue to actually make a valuable contribution to the region. So, yeah, it's a tricky time to navigate, and we all need to support Rita, I think, to be as successful as it can be in the short term.
Totally agree. Right, so we've got the officer's recommendation, which I'm just going to say A to E, because I'm not reading all those out, but I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
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 Against? Carried.
Congratulations, Phil.
Yeah.
You're a favourite.
Yeah. Right, that's the end of our future Napier committee meetings. So if we can stand for our closing karakia. Inga iwi katoa, kia piki te ora, te kaha, te maana matanga, inga wā katoa, ti hei, Māori ora.